Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Thomas Christ. Not live. Well, live, but not Thomas Christ live. You get it. Anyway, yeah. So I really had hoped to be doing a regular show here today, but unfortunately, yeah, my voice is still a bit fucked up, and so just to like clarify for people, like it's not just like it's not just like a sore throat or something. It's like there's shit wrong with my lungs, and I'm pretty sure. It could be like walking pneumonia. It could I don't really have no idea what's going on. Like I don't really feel sick, okay? But there's a lot of, there's a lot of gunk in there and shit, and it hurts. It doesn't feel particularly great. I probably could sing if I really had to, but I'm not going to do that because that's not a great idea. So, at any rate, were you even hearing anything I was saying? Probably not. I had the wrong thing set up. So anyway, I was probably mute that whole time, or maybe just coming out of one side. So let me know if you heard any of that. Yeah, I was only coming out of the left speaker because I still had it set up for multi-tracking, and you can't do that with the DLZ creator. Anyway, so yeah, you heard me, but only through one ear. Let's say hello to people. And thank you, Leela, putting in all the relevant linkages. I appreciate that. Hello, Scott Kid 64. Hello, lovely wife Amelia from downstairs. Hello, Jade Star. It's coming up next, doing some 90s music, which I'm excited about, of course. Frank Terzo, what's going on? Good to see you, man. And anybody else that's here? I don't see anyone. All right. Anyway, so Stephen Ewart, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well, as well as can be. Anyway, so I really don't have a whole, I don't have like a grand plan here today, but I guess I was gonna do a video pre-recorded update on Songtember, so I just figured, well, I have this time slot, I might as well just do it live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Anyway, so what I've been up to this week as far as Songtember, being that the voice is not where I'd like it to be. What I could do, hello, Hugh Caldwell, welcome. What I did do was I wrote lyrics for about 10 songs. 2 of those songs are already recorded and already pretty much done. So that's one thing that I've gotten done, which is great because then I have a game plan. I've got like a formula that I can follow and kind of lead me to hopefully getting this thing done. Hey, there's Pete Johns, the creator and originator of Songtember. Go and check out Pete. I got links in the description, by the way, I think for the official Songtember page, so you can go there. I think Leela also posted it, so you can go over to studiolivetoday.com/Songtember, and you'll find out all about how you can participate if you've never heard of this thing. Song in a month. We do it during the month of September, and we call it Songtember. And Pete started it back in 2019. So and we all pretty much do it, and it's a good thing because it gets us off our duffs and creating things. So that's always a good thing. So I wrote the lyrics for the 10 songs. That's what I've got, and then I've also created one full track that just needs guitar. I had meant to do the guitar last night, and I just kind of ran out of time, and ran out of energy to do it. But I also did another exciting thing here in the studio, which is maybe going to help me in this songtembering process, and that is, so I have these 2 studio monitors, these JBLs, which I never use. I just always use the headphones. And I've always been thinking I should get those JBLs working again because it might be good to hear through the monitors. Like everybody says, if you listen to stuff through the monitors, you'll hear stuff you don't normally hear. So I finally got these working. I tried with the first set of and that's the one thing with this Mackie DLZ creator mixer it only has 'cause I had when I was using the Zoom live track, I had the monitors hooked up with XLR cables. Well, this only has 1/4 inch out. So I had to try to find I had 1/4 inch speaker cable. I had to find those. I hooked those up. I was getting very low signal and a lot of buzzing, and I was kind of thinking like, uh-oh, I may not be able to make this work. But then I went down into the basement earlier today, and I had some 1/4 inch speaker cables, like really heavy duty monster cables, that literally the brand Monster, from when I used to play live, and we used it to hook up the PA system. I used those on this, and that actually worked fantastically. So I was able to bring the levels back down and get rid of the buzzing, and so I can actually use the monitors again, which is pretty freaking awesome. Because I haven't been able to do that for a long time. Nor have I had the initiative to like make that work. Hello, 13 Scribbles, welcome. So we got that going. That's gonna be big. That's gonna be huge. So now maybe I don't have to have headphones on like all day long, which is probably not good for your ears or anything. I don't know. I just constantly have these headphones on. So anyway, but it's going to be loud. See if the neighbors complain. Who knows? Anyway, so what I thought I would do today, because I really don't have a thing that I'm doing. Hello, Nippleback. Welcome. Good to have you here. So what I thought I would do today, since I really don't have like a massive like game plan, because it wasn't what I thought I was going to be doing today. But at any rate, I think what I'm going to do is work a little bit on the cover art for this album, and I'm going to do it in a program called Had Headphones On for 45 years. Right on. I've had them. I've 42. Well, maybe not all those years, but a lot of them. So there's a program called Logoist 5. I'm gonna bring that up. This is what when you load up Logoist 5. By the way, this program works for Mac, it works for iPad, and it works for iPhone. They've actually made this available. It used to only be Mac, and now it's on all the platforms. Nippleback has put some tracks down for Songtember today. Right on. Good stuff. So this is what you're greeted with when you see, and you got all these presets. I use these templates here that just give you like a size thing. So let's see what we want to go for. I may just roll my own actually for this now that I think about it. Because I don't know that I'm going to have a thing that's going to be perfect for this. I don't think I do. Like I could use, we'll just start off with the square 500 by 500, but that's not big enough. So and I had the cough right there, so that's kind of what I'm dealing with. Anyway, so what we can do is we can go here and went pretty folky for a change. That's nice. All right. So what we can go ahead and do, we edit the artboard, and now you can specify whatever size you want. So I'm gonna do, I don't know what the going standard is these days, but I'm just gonna play it safe, and I'm gonna do like, let's do like 2000 by 2000. That might be good. I think a lot of them are like 1000 by 1000, but it might be 2000 might be better. Usually bigger is better these days. Of course, you can always resize these things, but it's probably better just to get it the right size to start with. So then you'll see something like this. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually navigate away from this just for a second. I'm gonna try to find in my files here I had some things that I've already made up, and you saw those in the opening episode of this. So there we go. So let's just we'll go back here, and so all I did was I clicked on image, and here are I don't even think that's the right stuff. Actually, now that I look at it, these are my thumbnails for Songtember, so that's not quite right. How do I upload? Can I link my SoundCloud? Hello, Mark's GAS station. Hello, Tex 1313. This isn't that show. That's You Rock, but that's on Wednesdays. bit.ly/YouRock submit. Link is in the description. Would be happy to have you on there. Hello, Not Visible. All right. So, let's see here. I'm going to come back for a second. See if I can't find this. I generated some images for this album, and I want to see where they are. That might be it. Is that it? No, that's not it either. I have so much crap. I really got to get more organized. Jesus Christ. All right. So I'm just looking for some images that I had generated to use specifically for this project. And I don't know exactly where they are. Thought they'd be easier to find. I found them pretty easily the other day. And now I can't find them. I think I'm way too far. All right. There it is. What am I doing? Okay. So we'll come back. Now I found the folder where these things are, and I had decided we're gonna base it on this image right here. Now you see, oh my goodness, that's really small. That's really small. So we're going to make sure we set this to fit, because what this will do, it defaults to stretch, and this is an annoying thing. I always have a problem. Hello, Bloody Ritual, welcome. I always have a problem with this because it defaults to stretch. And what that means is you can do stuff like this, but then it's all wonky, so you probably don't want that. You may want that in some certain circumstances, but I want it to fit. So that means you can't, you can only do it like that. And it's going to keep the scale proportions the same, which we want to do. So let's just make this as big as the thing. There we go. And it'll show you. You get these nice little guidelines that'll pop up. It'll show you when it's in the center, which is what you want to do, generally speaking. So we're going to add some text to this bad boy. All right. So it just comes up like this. It's pretty boring. And let's just add my name to it. Thomas Christ. There we go. Now, let's see. We're going to go into the fonts. And you get all your little fonts that come up here. Now, I tend to use, and I'm not married to whatever I create here today. This may just be a demonstration kind of thing. We'll see. But Kenyan coffee, that's what I've been using. So we'll go with the Kenyan. Do we want it bold italic or regular? I'm thinking we go italic. All right. So there we go. We got that. Now you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with this. You see, it's kind of pretty hard to see there with that black thing. Now you can fill it with different colors, of course. You could do any color you want. They have a color list. I've never used that part of it. I usually just use this. So we want it red, we could do red. If we want it blue, we can do blue. We want it white, we can do white. And then if you want it black, black is the absence of color, so you can do that. But that's not all, because there's these style presets. Look at all this stuff. And then you can do these really cool like gradients, and these are all. Now look away, and we're burning flags. Yes, this is like a post-apocalyptic wasteland thing. So we can make these any colors. You can make them. There's multi-point gradients, which means there's like many different colors. You have just all these things, and then you get into some of the more creative ones down here. That one's not completely terrible, but you can give it like a plastic look. These are just the defaults, of course. You can edit all this stuff. You can make it with that, like, it's got like that glowing red thing. Leela says, it's a mellow Saturday, and I have several Songtember collabs almost ready. Yeah, you're becoming you're becoming like the next like Lori or something, doing a lot of collaborations throughout the community. Let's see. And we got this. See, these are the complex ones. Some of these get to be a little too like abstract out there, but some of them are cool. Like I do like that for certain things, you know. This one's a little bit like gives you that like pixelated look. Let's see. You get this like flaming thing. This is all the stuff that this program can do. It's so powerful. So you got now, I mean, you could even have it, you want some snow on top of it, you can do that. There's this one, which is kind of neat. You can get these like spiky things coming out of the side of it. You can do gold. Look at that, nice and gold. These are these glass ones. Some of these are like see-through, or like translucent, I guess the word would be. So lots of options there. Now for this one, geez, what am I gonna do? I might just go back here. Let's actually just go to like a plain old. So you have your flat color presets. So that kind of makes it nice and plain. It does add a shadow to it, which isn't a bad thing because we're probably going to want that anyway. Hello, Midnight Bandit. Welcome. Good to have you here with us. All right. So, I have this, and we could add a border to it if we want. And I like to do that sometimes. It gives a little bit of a delineation at the edge there, so it's not just, you know. See, this is for the shadow, and I do like to get the shadow kind of nice and tight in there, so it's not too loose. All right, all right. So here's the border. I mean, you can make these borders ridiculously huge, and this is kind of like an effect that sometimes people go for with that really outlandish outline. I probably want it to be just a bit more like that. And then let's fill it with red. Now it went down. Why is it all black? Because this is all the way down. If you go up, you see the colors. We'll come back. So you're fine. Nothing is wrong. There we go. So we got a nice little Thomas Christ in there, and you can actually go in. This has this edit topography thing, so you can actually go in. I don't know how much I want to mess around with this, but you could take one letter and just move it down there if you want. Do all these crazy things you can do in this app. It's very, very powerful. I think more people should be using it. I just undid that. So you have your undo up here, your undo and your redo. You have a delete thing. What is that? I guess that adds that duplicates it. I don't use these buttons very often. Combine. I actually don't know what combine does. I've never used that. I just found a new feature right in front of you. So there you go. But we're going to leave it at that for right now. You can come down here and you can control the font size. So if we want to make it a bit smaller, if we want to make it really small or really huge, we can do that. And we can also control, this is a really nice thing. Yeah, red is kind of the perfect color. You have the tracking, which you can make the words further apart, closer together. This is also really good if you have two separate sets of text and you want to make one match the width of the other one. You can do that. So that's a powerful thing. I don't know how much of that I want right now, but we're gonna just do that. So now we're gonna create another one because we also need the album title on here. So let's just see here. I don't want to do all that. All right, so the title of the album is Hollow and Chosen of God. And we will see if that's going to work for us. Now, I don't know what, do I want to keep with that font or do I want to change it to something else? I probably want to use a different font for that. I have so many fonts. I got fonts coming out of my ears. Hello, Jenny, Joel, Yvette, welcome. Good to have you here. Oh, this League Gothic. That could be cool. I'm kind of liking that, actually. All right, now we got the same kind of situation as before. I don't know if I want to use red again for this. I might, maybe we go for like a grayish color. Something like that, not quite white. Not quite white, but almost there. And then we add a little bit of a border will help it pop. And we could change this border to a pure white border. I don't think that's going to work. It doesn't work. So we'll just keep it like that. We can add our shadow to it. And we'll bring that shadow in with the X and Y offset. And you change the opacity. You can make it really, really dark like that. If you want that kind of more old school, exaggerated effect. Or you can make it a little bit lighter. And then you have this radius thing, which just kind of blurs it out and makes it a little bit softer, the edges. So that's not too bad. Let's kind of make this one match a little bit more. So we'll make that just a little bit darker. Blur it out just a little bit more. And that's not too bad. So we have a start. We have a start. It's not where I want it to be yet, but it's getting there. So let's see what we can do with this fill on this and maybe try some gradient stuff. That'll warn you. Oh my goodness, you're replacing the fill. What are you doing? You crazy fool. Now I'm replacing the fill. It's fine. Okay. So let's go up here. Now the gradient thing is really nice. I like the gradient thing. You can control here where this one kind of starts and ends. And you can also control this one. You can bring this. You can make it a really dramatic, so it's more like a metal look where it's going to dramatically change from one to the other quickly. Or you can have this wider, slow, where it just kind of gradually changes. And I think I want to darken that one a bit more. This is already pretty light. We could probably go a little lighter even with that. And, it's starting to look kind of, a little bit cooler than what it did before. This one, I think, I need to move this tracking in a little bit. And maybe not have so much border. Now that I'm looking at it more. Right. Black outline and shadow, yes. All right. So we've got these basic kind of elements in here. Now, this is where we can have even more fun. Let's do something really crazy. And we're gonna put a whole thing right over top of all of this. Now, why would I do that? Why would I do something like that? There's a reason. So we could go in here and we could say do like a radial gradient like that. We can edit this gradient. We can make this a bit darker. And maybe, let's see. We'll leave it like that. And then what we can do is we can fade this out. And then you start to see, okay, Now, the problem here is it does make it like more washed out in the center, but you don't have to do that because you can use these blend modes. Let's see what multiplied. See, multiply, I think that's looking really cool right there. Just given that little bit of, and that's with full opacity. We can change the opacity and decide how much of that effect we want. But there we go. That just gives you that like where the edges are a little bit darker. And I kind of like that. All right. So that's a way to do that. Now we can also go in here to the actual image itself, and let's just for the right now we're gonna turn that that effect that I just did off, and we can go in here and grab. There's all kinds of effects that you can have on this. Like you could do something extreme like this posterize effect. I don't know if I really would want that, but to give you something interesting like that gives it a much more like punk rock kind of look to it. But we may not go that route. You can even put a page curl if you wanted to have something else behind this. You could have this little page curl thing. I've never used that ever, but it's a thing, and you could change the angle of it. Look at that. Like you can make it like, oh, I'm folding it. Oh wow. I've actually never played around with that. That's pretty neat. So if you wanted like to have like a book or something where you wanted like the pages to be opening, like that could work. Let's see. We got, so this is where you can really get fun, really have some fun. So hue adjust. Now this lets you just basically like colorize this whole thing, whatever you want. It'll go through the entire color spectrum. So if you want to make it more like red, which I think I do, because red is always better. I think slightly posterizing the sky would be cool. Yeah, that's probably one thing that's not great in this program. There's not an easy way to like just select an area. You would have to go into another app, which in my case would be Pixelmator. I would go into Pixelmator and I would use Pixelmator to cut that part of it out and then paste it in, and then I'd be able to apply the effect to just that part. But as far as this goes, I don't know of a way to just select that to select a part of an image, because this is really like at its heart, this app is really it's really a like a raster, not raster. What is it? Vector. Vector-based imaging editing, but it does let you bring in images. So it's kind of it's a weird mishmash of the two. All right. So kind of liking this, kind of liking where this is at, and just give it a little bit redder, just so you can see the difference. There's the original, and it's more of that orange color, and there's more red. And I kind of like that. This needs a little bit more work here as far as making this look really cool. We might be able to add a glow to it. I don't know if that's going to... Yeah, you can make this glow any color. I don't know if that's the solution. I'm thinking that probably isn't. Anyway, so we got this kind of basic thing happening. We can also go into this picture and we can add one of my favorite effects of all is the color controls. Now, automatically, just doing that, it looks cool. But this is because, for whatever reason, it changes these to 1.5, and so the saturation and contrast are automatically turned up. I don't know why it does that. If you put it at 1, that's the default. So 0 for the brightness, saturation at 1, contrast at 1. That's your default, like what it was before you did anything. So I like to zero those out, kind of. But we can play around with a little more saturation. Like that's not a bad deal. Or less saturation. We can up the see, just like doing that, and it totally adds totally gives it a different vibe. A little less saturation, a little more contrast. Yeah, I think that could work. All right. I'm kind of wondering if I turn these borders off, maybe I don't actually want the borders. You know what? I kind of like it better without the borders. As funny as that is, I kind of like it like that. So we may be somewhere. We may be getting somewhere. Now, let's see here, because I want to get my logo into this. Let me just do this real quick. All right. New logo. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see if we can find the original one where I actually did this. That's what I actually need. So it's going to be one of these. Maybe this one. Maybe this one. Yes. There we go. So you can actually see this is the logo that you've been looking at for way too long. Here it actually is in this program. Now, what I want to do with this logo, and let's see how difficult this is going to be. Let's first of all save it as something else, because as soon as you make a change, this is one of the annoying things about this. As soon as you, hey, many vibes, welcome. I'm making cover art for my Songtember album. Well, hopefully it'll be associated with Songtember at any rate. Let's do 2024 album concept. There we go. All right. So we got this logo. These were all the variations of this, by the way, that I went through. That's why there's all these things here. See, like I had all these different textures. Could have been that. It could have been this. It could have been so many different things that I was playing around with, but we're going to go with this. Now, I might actually want that one, though. Where's the ones? I put all these in here, which is crazy because I got to try to find this. The one that one. Get rid of that. Bye-bye. Okay. No, I think this might be the best way to go. Might be this one here. Because I think what I'm trying to do here, and I'm not totally sure, and maybe I just don't have that at all. I think I want to make this like a flat thing. It's going to be a little tricky, though. Going to be a little tricky. Okay. So we're just going to get rid of all of these. Because I don't need all these in here. Okay. So there it is, and it has no background at all. We're going to take this, and I think this is actually going to be quite simple. Oh. There you go. It was only that easy. Only that easy. To turn this logo into a thing. Now let's see if we couldn't let's undo that just for a minute, because I want to play around with one thing here. And then we'll go into this one. This is the one we're using, and we'll fill, but we're going to fill this one, if you guessed it, red. I don't know if I like that. I think I like it all one color, not like that. So we may just leave it like that. Let's just see how this looks. Because we can make this any color we want. Now, if I'm going to do it that way, I'm just going to get rid of it from these. Because then I'd have to do it twice if I want to change the color. With this, I can just do it once, and there it is. All right, so we will export this. This is how you export an image. For whatever reason, make sure that this anti-aliasing tab is all the way over on 4x. I don't know why, but that makes things look better when they export. It just does. I can't explain that to you why that is, but it is. Okay. So there we go. We have that now. And we're going to bring that in over here. There it is. Boom. There it is. It's in our image. Look at that. Look at that. Nice logo. We're going to remember to set it to fit so it doesn't change the scaling. It doesn't change the proportions. And there we are. I don't know if I'm going to stick with that. I could also add just a little bit of a border to it. I know, me and the borders, right? You know? Now, why am I doing this? I'm doing this just to make it stand out a little bit. But I don't really like how it's doing it. I'm not sure I like how it's doing that. I might actually not do that because it just looks ridiculous. It's not applying it evenly everywhere. And there's probably reasons for that. I think we'll just go without that. So, as it is right now, we got something. Let's see about adding effects. And you can also just right click on the item and you can bring up different kinds of effects. So this works too. We'll go in here and we'll play around with some other stuff and see what we can find. There is the distorter, which you can do all these like text effects that honestly, like, I've used this to some degree, but they do look a bit like Paint Shop Pro 1995. You have to be a little bit careful because you can end up with that. It is really easy in here to end up with that. But you don't have to end up there. Let's see what we can do with these effects. Okay. We can replace color. See, that could be fun, because that will colorize it. You wouldn't want that all the way because it just like makes everything bright red. But a little bit of that is not a bad thing. And I don't know that I mind. I don't know that I mind having this little bit of like, it doesn't always have to be like jumping out at you. It can be subtle like that. And I think that can actually work nicely. In fact, I may go. So another thing I might do here is, and this is a good thing to do in this program. Now we get this right in the middle of my name. And then we have to decide, do we want it on top? Do we want it on the bottom? Always the classic dilemma, top or bottom. Oh, God. Mind in the gutter. Mind totally in the gutter. No, but what we're going to do is we're going to group these together. Because then, what's nice about that? Oh, crud, a work thing. Gosh darn it, we'll have a good time with that. Thank you for hanging out for a little bit. All right. So we have a group thing. What's nice about having the group situation with this is that we can resize this together. Now, it does you do lose some of that proportionality with the text. You got to be a little careful with that. There's no way around that, unfortunately. Like if you stretch it down, it's going to make the text look ridiculous. But that can also be fun. I don't mind that so much with text because you can make the text look a little more unique that way. But, we'll just use this to make it a little bit smaller because I don't think I want this gigantic. I don't even know if I want it there. Do I want it here? It doesn't really show up very well there. I'm thinking up in this corner is probably like the most reasonable place because you can kind of see everything. And we could actually make this text if we wanted to. If we wanted to really be this ridiculous, we could make this text. And I know I'm replacing a fill. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right. We'll get through this together. And then now I have to find a lighter place to put that. But anyway, we'll figure it out. See, now we may need to make this. Did I fill this whole thing? I didn't fill it. Whatever. We can fill it again. Who cares? So we want to make this like dark, but not. Yeah, I don't know if I'm liking that. I don't know if I'm liking that so much because what I'm going to have to do is, where do we have this damn shadow? We got to get rid of this shadow. Why are we getting rid of the shadow? Because it was coloring the shadow, and that doesn't look great. So we're not going to do it. Anyway. So now we can make this any color we want. So it'll show up. And we could even add a gradient to it if we wanted to. I'm not going to do that. But this will help it to kind of show up a little more. Maybe it should be white. Or like that off-white. So, we're getting some stuff done. And why you're not singing your vulgar chords? Well, keep trying. You'll get there. Hello, Rhett. Oh man. Yeah, that's exactly. Well, it's not so much my vocal cords, like I was explaining at the beginning. I think it's more of a lung thing, which isn't good. But I need to. Yeah. Vocal, you did it. Give it up for Mix Club. Got it. Nailed it. Hello, Andy Espine. What's going on? Could be the drip. All right. So there we go. That is at least the start on an album cover. Now, there's one major thing that I didn't do. Like an idiot. What kind of idiot doesn't save things? This kind of idiot. Hello and Chosen of God album cover 1. We'll save it as 1 because it's probably going to go through some revisions. For whatever reason, it doesn't show the number at the top. I've noticed. It's a weird thing. So there we go. So now it's nice and saved. We could export it if we wanted to. Yeah, let's go ahead. Why not? There's no fee for exporting things. It'll show you, like, you can scroll this thing. So if you want to see how things are actually going to look, and you can see, like, things always look a lot better when you export it. You can see that, like, Thomas Christ looking a lot nicer up there. So, we're going to go ahead and save this bad boy. And there we go. So we've got, and I'll even bring it up. Let's just see here. Where are we at? I'll bring it up for you so you can see the picture that we just exported. So you can believe and see that it exported. There it is. Look at that. Exported the whole thing. I don't know why this looks a little darker than that. I don't have to look into that. Why that's happening. That's a little odd. But anyway, there we go. So we've done some work. We got some work in because metal. That's why. Maybe the logo and words can be metallic embossed effect in silver. Yeah, it could be. Totally. Yeah, what would that kind of look like? You could do it with the like that beveled effect or something. I'd have to play around with that a little bit more. But yeah, there we go. So, that's at least the start. Or at least we're getting somewhere with this on this stream. We got Jade Star coming up next. She's gonna be doing some alternative 90s music. And then Pete is doing some spring songs. And you might think, what the hell? Is he gone mad? Has he lost his mind? Spring? Really? No, it's spring because he's in Australia. So we're in fall, but they're going into spring. And it's because everything is upside down and backwards. Yeah. So it totally makes sense. It sucks for us because we're in fall. We're looking at winter coming up very soon. We got football coming up. It's already started. My goodness. Thank goodness the Chiefs beat the Ravens on Thursday night. Good. I always like to see the Ravens lose. Yes. As a Steelers fan. Although we don't even know who our quarterback is tomorrow. So, it's going to be fun. Hippie did not like that at all. What? Now we gotta... because it's gonna be summertime there. All right. But anyway, you guys have any questions about any of this nonsense? And I was kind of focused. I was kind of like working. I'm not. I don't do a lot of work on camera. It's a little weird, but anyway, if you have any questions about this software, about how Logo is 5 works, I'd be happy to explain that to you. Or any questions about anything that you saw me do. I really didn't do anything too crazy today, because I didn't even know that I was gonna be doing a show. I called Hippie Skippy on one time in a type. Oh man, but he ought to know by now. It's Rhett, He's just he's doing the best he can. Rhett is. Spring is coming. Yes. Good evening. Hello, Roque. So if you have any questions or you want to talk about what you got going on for your Songtember tracks, let me know. I'll be happy to answer any questions or give you any advice. Oh, I forgot to talk about, I guess I could talk about this while I wait to see if there are any questions. A couple of mixing things that I've been playing around with. So one of them is, I've never liked the way my vocals sounded in mixes. Never. Not on any album that I've ever done, ever. I've always thought that they sounded weird. And when I mean that, I'm not talking about like the vocals, like they sound fine in a way, but they're not. Something was weird about them. And so one of the things that I've been looking at, first of all, I think I've been mixing my vocals too loud. So I've been trying to bring the vocals back, and you'd be surprised how little of your vocals you actually really need. And I'm trying to like reduce them as to the point that they're barely audible, because then it sounds like you're in a band, If the vocals are way up front, it's a little bit weird. So I've been trying to do that, but still not lose all the intelligibility. But you know what? If you go back and listen to your favorite albums, weren't there songs that you played that you listened to and you thought, well, what the hell is that? What are the lyrics? I need to look at the lyric sheet. Because the vocals would be so far back in the mix that you couldn't maybe make out all the vocals. And sometimes that was okay. It's not, it doesn't have to be, it doesn't always have to be like in bold print. You know what I mean? Like stuff can be there, and it can be there in a way that's, when you know what the words are, it becomes intelligible, but it doesn't necessarily always have to be, screaming at you in a, not in a literal sense, but very out front. Maybe pop music would have vocals really out front, but I think in rock music, like the vocals got to be a bit back, and I'm learning to do that. Mix Club, spot on. 70s, 80s vocals were buried a lot. Yeah. I'm a child of the 90s, but I think they were still doing a lot of the same stuff then too. Now, one of the other things I've been working on too. Now, what I always did with vocals, and I obsess way too much about these things probably, but I would always pan vocals. So I would have like either single or double track vocals on verses, and they would be down the middle. And then on the choruses, I would split the vocals out. I would do doubles, and they would come out to like anywhere between 25 to 40% on each side. I'm no longer doing that approach. And the reason that I don't know that, I don't think that any lead vocals should be panned at all. I'm starting to think that. I'm starting to not like the idea of vocals being panned. Because first of all, if you think about it, there's a reason why with like commercial tracks, you can go into Apple and you can do that thing and they can remove the vocals. And the reason that works is because the vocals are usually right down the middle. And I was putting vocals out off to the sides, which I don't think is right. I don't think you should do that. At least not with lead vocals. Now, I was then conflicted. Well, what do I do with the doubles? What do I do with backing vocals? And I started to realize, put those off to the side, the backing vocals or the doubles, but have them lower in the mix. That seems to be a way to go. Some people will be like, yeah, of course. What are you talking about? I've been doing that all along. But I haven't been. So this is new to me. This is all new to me. Another thing is not always doing like, and this goes for guitars too. When you do doubles, not always doing the same things. They can be very different. And that's actually better if it's really different or off the wall. Like those vocals on the sides can be dramatically different and a totally different pitch, totally different octave. Like you can mess around with that, and I think it's a cool effect. And heavily affected too. There's the ones that end up being panned. I've also been experimenting with, to some degree, LCR panning. I'd say, what the hell is LCR panning? Well, LCR panning says that you don't pan things like 30% this way, 30% right, or 20% left. You either do one of three things. It's either right down the middle, it's either 100% that way or 100% that way. That's it. There's three positions. It's like a switch. Left, right, or center. Can't do anything else. So I've been playing around a bit with that, although there are some situations where I don't like doing that. Because it is very restricted. It's tough. It's tough to mix that way. But it's a fun challenge, and I've heard some really great producers talk about doing things in that way. And I've heard some great effects from that approach. So I've been messing around a little bit with some LCR panning. Mix Club says the only time I don't like LCR is on toms. Yeah, I could see. And I think that's what I was doing the other day. I think I was messing around with some toms and like, yeah, because you want the toms to kind of go across the spectrum, and it's a little weird when it's just, you can't use those middle positions. Pete says, nice one, TC. Old songs often use left-right panning. Weird hearing old 60s tunes with the drums on the left. Yeah, and they didn't even use center. They just use literally left and right. So you'd hear like the vocals coming out of this side, and the guitars and drums are over on this side, and the vocals and the bass are on this side. Yeah, it's very weird, but it's a cool effect. I've actually heard that used in more modern recordings as like a special thing. So, thank you, Leela. By the way, you can definitely become a Chaos Club channel member for $1 a month. You get the emojis. You get the non-existent shows that never happen. Maybe, who knows? It's a could you know what? You'll have FOMO. There could be a show, and you don't want to be left out. Let's put it that way. Yes, super chats, super thanks are always greatly appreciated, because this whole thing is only thanks to you, people like you. So I appreciate all the support that anybody can give. If you haven't hit the like button, that's a nice thing too. If you're out there, if you're just listening and you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. We're on the march to hopefully get to 1,000 soon. So every last little click matters a lot right now. So if you could hit that subscribe button, man, you rock in my book. Don't forget, we got You Rock coming up on Wednesday. The show is getting pretty full. I'm going to be pretty honest with you. There's not a lot of room at this point, but if you want to send a song in, if you don't get on Wednesday, we'll get you on in a future show. So send it in bit.ly/YouRock submit. We do have the 3rd anniversary of You Rock coming up this week on Wednesday. So that's going to be, it's going to be pretty exciting. There's been a lot of excitement lately around You Rock. Sometimes I will mono up my bass to 100% so you don't lose the low in your toms if you do LCR. Yeah, I've also been, I think I already did that kind of, because my bass is always right down the middle. But I suppose I could make sure it's mono. But I'm always using I'm using like synth basses and stuff. So it's it's a little bit different, since it's not like a bass guitar, usually with me. I do it a little bit. Usually, I was telling somebody the other day in one of Pete's chats, I think I just MIDI that shit. I got this one bass guitar. It's in my background. I don't even think you can see it right now. But it's the cheapest of cheap bass guitars. I don't even think it's really, ever been set up properly. The strings have never been changed on it. I can make it work, but it's not a great sound, and it's got some like, when you plug it in, a little bit of noise. And yes, you can become a solid gold rocker, especially if you're an artist that gets featured on You Rock and you want to be early on in the show. That's the way to do it. But you don't have to. But I really do appreciate if you do. All right. Well, I think that's gonna about do it. So there we are. That's where I'm at as far as Songtember goes. Yeah, I don't think I have a lot more other than that to talk about. Up next is Jade Star. You'll be dumped right over there through the magic of YouTube to the show. She's doing 90s alternative. We got Pete Johns after that with some spring. Some spring. I guess there's songs about spring out there. I'm sure there are. What I was trying to say, like on the toms, I'm on the lows, so the thump of the floor tom is in the center, but the attack will be wherever you pan it. It's a good idea. I like it. I have to play around with that one. You got some good ideas. Get over to that Mix Club. He's got some good advice going on. He's been doing it a long time. All right, thank you so much. We'll send you over to Jade Star. Much love. Take care. Most importantly, keep rocking. See you at Jade's. Bye-bye, everybody.